Alright, guys. So for this next build, we have the Taints. Now, I discovered something on on the last build with the Goatmen. I thought I captured a boss, but then I started capturing normal ones. And that's what I thought I captured, but I wasn't sure. So apparently, long story short, when you take a normal minion, it makes it a random boss. So if you take a fallen and it's not a boss, it turns into one. Now, the council members are an exception because I just tried that same method with the council members and it just turned it in council member. I had to get one of the actual ones. But that's just a little side note on the demons. As for this build, um, we have the Taints, which are very powerful. This build isn't completed because I still have one more synergy to max. I'm only 79, but it does a vast amount. So with Demonic Mastery, you get 3 of these, or 2 with whatever. And then Blood Oath gives them a crap ton of defensives. They are going to be meat shieldy despite the fact they're casters. And then this is going to increase their attack speed tremendously if you max it. I didn't max this one. I maxed the other because I wanted them to have, life. Should have did this for offense. My bad. And then Blood Boil. Blood Boil is very fun. It's like Corpse Explosion in a sense, except times 3. So anything that's close to them is going to get blood boiled, which is extremely efficient. And it also gives them a bonus of damage. Now, this is a good one for Sunders. I don't have a Sunder at the moment, but fire builds in this game, in this class, you're going to have fire resist aura with the Taints. A lot of people didn't notice that right off the bat, but yes. So you get fire res aura, and that means that you basically cancel out the Sunders mostly. You could do this with Apocalypse as well. Just have one of your Taints out giving you fire aura. A majority of the time you're going to have this at the minimum of 10, so that you'll have at least 2 demons. The one you want, which ideally would be Conviction for this build and any other fire. But I'm just going to play it for what it is for now and show you how it works. We're not going to be able to do council members without, we're not going to be able to trav without the Conviction, of course. But we can do cows. So let's go get some leg. So you teleport it and then you blood boil them. And everything around them times 3. And you blood boils. Now these are all fire immune, but still it's physical. So because it's physical, I can technically, yes, do what you call it, trav. It just might take a quick second because physical immunity they don't really have too much of, but it's also, yeah. Oh, right. To counter the blood boil also makes them take extra damage. It damages them, so there we go. I was binding a demon, forgive me. So you just spam Encore or Ingor. I was about to say Encore, I'm exhausted. Anyway. Just spam that. It gives them attack speed so they do more, and it also heals them. So while you're blood boiling and they're losing life, you just use the corpses that you kill to keep them going. You're gonna have to really spam it to kill them. I'm spamming it right now and it's just not, you know what I mean? You have to really spam it to kill them. And by then you definitely have a target dead. And then you just use their corpses to regenerate them. It's a pretty easy build, pretty broken in my book, but very fun. So I'm going to spam it on top of them, and then I'm going to blood boil, and they're dead. Just like that. Just like that. So it's a fun little caster build. You just put the demons where you want them, and they start shooting like crazy. You could also just run 3 of them because they do good damage. You don't really need Conviction like that. Clearly, it's nice. Any extra damage. But having 3 Taints as well is pretty awesome. Because that's just more damage, more fireballs. It's like Hydra. Summon them. Boom, 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 boom. It's good to summon them on top, though, so you can spam the blood boil. And that way, you just have a lot more damage, have a lot more control. It is a range thing, so you can basically kill things across the map. And one thing I do hope that they fix, because this is broken, like, for instance, if you go to, like, Catacombs or the Dark Tower or anything where you're, like, constantly behind the wall, you could summon them through the wall, which is a little broken in my book. That should get a nerf. I understand you could teleport through walls into that, and that's probably the same mechanics they used was just teleport. But at the same cost, it's a bit broken. Because, like, if I could stand right here and summon them over here and LOS everything completely, it's a little bit extreme. I should only be able to summon them where I could see them, you know? Not through actual walls. And it's worse in, like, the Dark Tower and all the rest. Because, yeah. It's basically free. You don't have to even be at the battlefield. You just, hey, I'm here. You're dead. What's going on? I can't fight this. You know, it's no chance they have to hit you. Which is good for avoidance right now, but again, I still think that's a little too broken. I do think that it should be fixed. Because if that's the case, people are just going to abuse that mechanic. And they kill fire immunes pretty decently without conviction. That's why. I took my mercenaries, off so that he wouldn't kill the demons. There we go. I was trying to tame a big one, but Hephaesto's also a very good choice for this, because if you could get a conviction Hephaesto, the Hellforge guy, oh, it's over. He's very meaty, he doesn't die, and he, you know, he's cool. Alright, so we're going to see how we run cows in this. See how broken this is with cows. So there's the cows. We hit the boil blood. It's alright. Not as fast as I hoped. Oops, I just sacrificed one to get more damage. Oh, and there goes my mercenary. Oh, he's immune to fire. Well, this is a good test. The first one we play is immune to fire. So, oh well. Let me get the mercenary. I don't have the patience because I want to show the rest of this. Of all the cows, we got to get the first one immune to fire. Hysteric. Alright, let's kill the one immune to fire, and then you'll get an actual math on how this works. Because right now I'm just boiling blood and trying to make sure to balance it out so there we go. Alright. Now we can play the game. So, like this. See what I mean by this mechanic? It's insane. You can just summon them in the room. So yeah, you definitely want conviction. It doesn't do as much as I assumed. I figured this would be destroying the cows. It does a little bit, but not much. And again, this is all basic gear. Alright, there we go. King! Heal, 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 and go. Now boil blood. Damn, that king has some good res. Heal. A lot of things are fire immune as well, so you definitely want the Sunders for this build. It's just... You also want the conviction. So, I mean, it's a pretty... It'll be a pretty broken build as well. It just... You gotta have gear and certain mechanics. I'm over here trying to speed through each build and not go too big on the details. That way it leaves room for growth and creativity. But getting an idea of how they work in Hell with just, again, basic gear. Spirit swords. Just stuff you'll find on day one. And I don't even have my amulet on. That's great. I don't know what happened to my amulet, but I'll figure that out later. I had one with resistance. Huh, interesting. Whatever. Oh, I have more fire res now. Before it was in the negatives. Alright. So now we just hit the boil blood. Hit the encore. Boil blood. I think another mechanic I want to add with this one will be Sigil of Death. I was thinking about it right when I was building it too, but it had so many synergies already. I didn't want to waste 3 points. I should have, because Sigil of Death basically is like Corpse Explosion as well, except I need to switch this to F1. I keep doing that. There we go. We don't really need to sacrifice them like that. I mean, it's nice when you need something that's high fire res and you just want to get the extra bonus from sacrificing them, but you have to keep them sacrificed. I think that's the one mechanic of Consume that is like really annoying, is that you can't resummon them once you sacrifice them or you lose the buff. I think that part is a little annoying. I would like that taken off, because then you could just use the benefits for Goatman, for the Taint, and even just the Binding Demon at times. So you just gotta balance the blood boils of Encore or Ingor, whatever. And from there you just watch them go to hell. Anything that could clear cows with no gear is pretty efficient, because at the end of the day, this is day one builds. These are things that you could do right off the bat. Everybody's going to have Spirit. Everybody's going to have the little Warlock armor. And then just a few randoms. Some people will have a lot more gear. They'll have a lot more resources. Like, they might have, 3 to skill amulet, or they might have some skillers. They might have a few things day one as well. This doesn't include high rune words like Phoenix or nothing like that. Those are also going to be a very big bonus for this one. And at the same time, I mean, as long as you can do the blood boils on time and you max them out, you should be fine. Unfortunately, at the beginning of this run, I ran into fire immunes and high fire resist mobs, so it's like it took off the map, the math. So this one's another mob. I'm going to blood boil like crazy. Unfortunately, they do still die very quickly due to the fact that they are casters, even with the Blood Oath. So it would probably be better for the go to Engor. One, it gives fire damage bonus. I wasn't reading that. I just read the bonus and got lazy. And then 2, it also increases their attack speed and heals like crazy. Since they're going to die anyway from using Blood Boil, because I think Blood Boil is a percentage versus a flat damage, max this one first and then this one, because it's nice to give them a bit more resistance, but honestly it doesn't even do that much difference from the beginning. I mean, 71 is nice and all, and the life increase is amazing, but this is going to give it's taken away a percentage versus yeah, it's basically taking away a percentage. It's not taking away a flat damage, so that 900% means nothing. What you want is you want to heal them right after you take that percentage away. So that's where I made a mistake. Learn from my mistakes. That way you can have a little bit more fun than I did. And I actually do think Conviction would be great, but at the same time, since you're so reliant on them being meaty, it's not worth getting a big demon, because you got to put them on top of everything, and they just die. And plus, having 3 of them is pretty OP, because these guys deal a high amount of fire damage. And you could also just do that. What I just did there is basically constantly spam Blood Boil and then just summon another on top of them. Each rotation gets better with practice. Like, now that I have an understanding how these Hydras work, because that's what they remind me of, I just summon them on top, hit Blood Boil, sometimes hit the Ingor if I have the time, if I'm not kiting, and then just, constantly spam it. Like I said, everything comes with practice. I think this is going to be a very good cow clear. And again, with the Fire Sunder and with Conviction, it will do a lot more damage. But it's also good the way it is, because like A lot of things that are fire immune, you're gonna want the Sunder Aura on, but these kind of take care of themselves. And if it's fire immune, you could always consume for that one mob and make them take extra fire damage with the Sunder. So, I mean, it's high fire res, not immune, but the charm will take care of that. And they're very aggressive too. So, only thing is, you might need probably. I would go with Act One Mercenary. Act One Mercenary with Meditation Aura. That's what we should do with this build, because that way, while they're attacking the taints, the Act One Mercenary's avoiding them and not jumping into the fray and being stupid and dying immediately like he always does. I think they made that on purpose to balance out the fact that Act 2 mercenaries are the worst. They have the best auras and all that, but they just run right into the fray and they don't do anything. And then when you do need them to do something, they're just standing around. Oh, I don't know. Come on, man. The one thing I need you to kill. It's immune to whatever element I have. Can you do it? No. Yeah. So Act 2 mercenaries, they're good for the auras and all that, but I just always, since the beginning, I've always felt they fuck around. Another thing I was thinking is maybe Act 3 mercenary with this guy as well. Oh, actually, that's not a bad idea. Act 3 mercenary with Phoenix Shield. No, wait, that affects his damage, not yours. Erase that. But still, Act 3 mercenary is not a bad deal. You know, it's a ranged. You could add a few things with him. And another thing will be Act 5 mercenary. Act 5 with Plague. That'll be endgame with this. Because then you could just constantly have them lower resed, constantly have, and Act 5 is the best tank. Act 5 mercenary is definitely the best face tank. They don't die as easily. You don't really need that much mana, as you can tell, because like I haven't really had to hit the mana potions as much. So that's another good thing. I thought it was going to be heavy on the mana. That's why I went back to the Act 2 mercenary. But it's actually pretty decent with the mana. And as you get better, you start to be able to clear it a lot quicker. It's all about positioning them and hitting the blood boils and then healing them with Ingor. I definitely think adding Sigil of Death to this build will be better. So again, learn from my mistakes. There's plenty of room for creativity. And these are things you could do on day one. So, cows are about cleared. There's another, there's extra fast ones. I hate them. Again, I play hardcore, I don't play softcore, so everything I give you as well is for that. It's not like, hey guys, this build's great. Let's do /players8 on single player, and let's go test if I can kill this person in one hit. Oh, and here's the off math on what items you'll get, because you don't know that I do it single player. That's how a lot of these streamers go. That's why I don't really mess with a lot of them. I don't mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to get an idea of how things go, but they're not realistic. Like most things on the media. They don't tell you that, hey, this is single player /players8. Alright, so we got another one of those, fire immune ones. That's why it took a second. So now I gotta just summon taints and just spam blood boil, spam blood boil. Spam it. And I did it the wrong way because I did Blood Oath instead of Ingor. Ingor increases the damage. Blood Oath increases the fire damage of Blood Boil. I should have done it the other way around. And plus I would be able to heal these a lot faster. There we go. So even fire immunes you can kill with these things. It just takes a quick second. But then again, with the Sunders, it'll be a lot better. I'm doing this without a fire sunder. And honestly, the fire builds for this with that fire resist is insane. So you get a fire res aura, and this build has a lot of room for growth. So like you could get flickering flame. It does not help with the taints. The taint is not a fire skill. It's a summoning skill. Because I found out with leaf, I didn't get +3 with that. However, you do get it. This is a fire skill. You do get it with that. And again, flickering flame will also be good for this one. So I mean, it has a ton of room for growth. I actually think this is one of my favorites, primarily because you can kill cows fast. It's long range. You don't have to worry about getting close to them. You don't have to worry about anything. You just put these guys on top of it and hit Blood Boil. And then once you get a little higher level, you can max out Ingor as well. But I think a big bonus of what we need next time is we need this. Because you can lay the sigil on where you're summoning your creatures, and then what it does, it's basically corpse explosion. I don't, yeah, for fire explosion damage. So it's going to deal damage and fire, just like how corpse explosion is. So that's very good. And then slays enemies with less than 13% will clear a lot more. So I think that's definitely going to be added to this build. And again, max this first and then this. Because clearly it's not a flat amount, it's a percentage. So we don't really need them to have that much health. They don't take that much damage. All the times they were dying was because of Blood Boil. So I think this is definitely one of my favorite builds.